It's a megalodon. Yeah, that's pretty much my best Jason Statham impression. I mean, I could have went with my other impression, which was, Meg. And that's why I don't do impression, folks. I'm gonna stick to my movie reviews. Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to another new release review. And for today, I will be covering The Meg. The Meg was directed by John Turteltaub. Yes, you heard that right. It stars Jason Statham, Bing Lee, and Rainn Wilson. And The Meg is basically Jason Statham versus a giant 70-foot shark. That's literally the plot. There's other things that go on, but they don't matter. No one cares about those things. It's just Jason Statham versus a giant shark. So to start off the positives, guys, first and foremost, of course, is going to be Jason Statham. I love this guy. He's just so naturally charismatic. He's such an enjoyable person to watch. If he wasn't in those movies, they would be like 10 times worse. I mean, just look what happened to the Transporter franchise. He just has that kind of rugged charm to it, and not only that, he's also a total badass and does the vast majority of his own stunts. He almost died on the set of The Expendables 3. And heck, I mean, I'll even just give it to them too. Bing Lee, she actually also does a really great job. I was surprised by her. I'd never heard of her, and I don't think I'd seen her in anything before, but she does a great job in this, actually. She was super enjoyable to watch as well. And same thing with Rainn Wilson, you know, Dwight Schrute from The Office. How could you not love him? He's way different than Dwight. He's actually just this arrogant billionaire, but, you know, he's still hilarious. Next is something that I was surprised by in this movie, and that's the sound design. The sound design is really, really good in this movie. Overall, of course, just the little things, the beeps and the boops from the machinery and things like that, all that stuff is fine, and the on-the-water stuff is really good, but where it really shines is the underwater stuff. The underwater stuff sounds really good. Honestly, you have a pool, or go to the ocean or the beach or whatever, seriously, just dunk your head in the water and get people to splash around and throw stuff in the water and kick things. Everything sounds so much cooler underwater. That's just a fact. And this movie glorifies that so well. They do a really good job with the sound design. All the underwater stuff sounds awesome. And it was something that really just, it kept me interested. I was always just listening to the speakers around me and listening to the drips, drops, and everything that was going on. It was really, really cool. And next, the cinematography in this movie. That really surprised me. Now, as you guys know, I'm a sucker for just aerial shots of just this big, vast ocean and the islands and stuff in the background and the boats and everything. All that stuff was really cool as well. But another big thing that surprised me, again, was the underwater stuff. All of that looked really good as well. Of course, a lot of it was CGI, but it was really polished CGI, and that's something I didn't expect from this movie. From the trailers, to me, it looked like the CGI was going to be horrible, but it was actually really good. It was really nice, and it looked fine to me. I mean, obviously, there were bits and pieces that I was kind of like, okay. But for the most part, the CGI was really well done in this movie, and it shows the underwater stuff. And of course, I just love those haunting things. Like, for me personally, I'm afraid of a lot of things. One of them being airplanes, probably the number one thing. Second thing is open water. For this reason, you don't know what the hell is down there, and you see this giant shark you might be looking at like, oh yeah, there's nothing down there. And then all of a sudden you look about 40 feet that way and there's teeth. You really never know, and this movie showcases that a lot. There's so many times that the Meg is just going under boats or under people and stuff like that, and you just see this giant body. And the sound design, of course, again, the sound, just the booming vibration of just the shark going under you, and the people don't even notice, or they do, which is even more scary. You just see this giant thing swimming under you, or for the people that are underwater and their mini submarines and things like that, just going over them. And just the cinematography in this movie actually really surprised me, and it was really good. Next is the setup for this movie. The setup for this movie was actually really good. I was pleasantly surprised by it. Up until the Meg stuff, everything beforehand with Jason Statham's past and how they got to finding the Meg, and then how the Meg gets back up into the water in our oceans, because it's actually like below Mariana's Trench. That stuff was all really cool and really well done, and I actually enjoyed a lot of it. Now, of course, I'm sure real deep sea divers and underwater explorers and people who do research on these things could definitely debunk probably 100% of all of this, but for me, someone who doesn't know anything about these things, I actually really enjoyed it, and they made me believe it, so I thought all that was well done. And next is just a little girl in this movie. She's just friggin' adorable, honestly. She adds a lot to this movie just because of how friggin' cute she is. She's honestly awesome, and she actually adds quite a bit of comedy to this movie too, and I really like the relationship she has with Jason Statham and with her mother, played by Bing Lee. She calls Jason Statham crazy, but not like, hey, you are crazy. Like, no, his name is Crazy, and they just have this cute little dynamic going for them and stuff like that, and honestly, I really enjoyed her being in the movie. Next is the middle ground, and the middle ground is humor in this movie. It's really hit or miss. Some of it I chuckled at, some of it I cringed at, and it was horrible, so it really was 50-50. It felt like there were moments in this movie where the actors would just pause as if they were waiting for the audience to stop laughing, but no one was laughing, and I was kind of looking around like, were we supposed to laugh at that? So some of the humor really does hit and it made everybody laugh, and other times it was horrible and just really cringe-inducing. And next to the negatives, of course, negatives, there's a lot of them in this movie. To start is pretty much anything in this movie that doesn't involve the shark is really boring. If the shark literally isn't present, they're not fighting the shark, they're not chasing the shark or being chased by the shark, it's really boring and you don't care about anything. Next, and of course this is as to be expected, the movie is supremely cheesy. Pretty much it seems like almost every bit of dialogue in this movie was meant to be a one-liner. There's so many like winks and nudges to each characters, but I feel like it's more so to the audience to try and get them to laugh again. So like a lot of the humor really cheesy, and that's the stuff that doesn't work. And it just felt like sometimes in this script the dialogue wasn't written with a flow. It wasn't fluent, it was kind of just like they were writing one-liners and just stacking them on top of each other. So that stuff, a lot of the cheesiness really didn't work for me. And the fact that this movie is supremely far-fetched, now I can't really knock it for that because you go into a story like this, you expect it to be far-fetched, but it really is far-fetched. Like I can kind of believe, hey, like a 70-foot shark, track it down, kill it, but some of the stuff, especially towards the end, a lot of the heroic stuff that Jason Statham does, not a chance. And next, the fact that the movie is supremely predictable. You can literally watch the trailers and guess the beginning, middle, and end to this movie. It goes exactly how you expect it. There is literally no surprises. You know exactly what's going to happen as soon as you step foot into that movie theater, and that's exactly what does happen. And then they also try to force this really awkward, clunky love story on you. I didn't believe it at all. The love story I just thought was horrible. Like the characters, their chemistry was okay, but the love story was super rushed, super forced, felt just kind of, like I said, awkward and clunky. And almost any serious moment in this movie, I guess this could also be tacked on to anything without the shark, but yeah, they try to have serious moments in this movie where it really, you want to try to, tug on the heartstrings, give you the feels, but again, it doesn't work. If it doesn't involve the shark, you don't really care. A lot of the side characters, like I said, the cast does a fine job. They all do their part, but for the most part, you really don't care if they live or die, honestly. So like I said, any serious moment they try to pull on you here, it falls completely flat. You really don't care. This is a movie that when it's self-aware, like, hey, we're a big, dumb, fun action shark movie, that's fine. It's fun. It's awesome. It thrives in those moments. But anytime it tries to be more than that, it falls flat. It's not meant to be taken seriously, so stop trying to make us take it seriously, because we're just not going to. And last but certainly not least, it's getting up there actually, is the fact that I really think this movie would have been a lot better with an R rating. It just would have been a lot more fun. Like, it felt like it held back. Like, it was still a fun movie for sure. That's like the best way I can describe this movie, is just fun, and that's super plain, I know, but yeah, I feel like if they would have added just really up the gore and made it super over the top, it would have made people enjoy this movie a lot more than they actually did. Of course, they wouldn't have done that though, because there's no way that the studio would have gave $150 million to an R-rated shark movie. It only made $44 million at the opening box office on a $150 million PG-13 rating, so of course they weren't going to up it and make it R-rated, but I just think that it would have been really enjoyable. Maybe on the Blu-ray release we'll get an uncut edition where it'll just up the gore tenfold. I think that would have been awesome, honestly, if it was R-rated, and I think it really would have helped this movie a lot. So all in all, guys, yeah, this movie was fun. That's the way I can describe it. It was a fun time. I want to sit down in my chair, shove a bunch of popcorn into my face, and just enjoy this giant, nonsensical spectacle in front of my eyes, and that's exactly what I did. I knew exactly what I was going into, I knew exactly what to expect, and that is exactly what I got. So with all that being said, guys, I'm going to be giving The Meg a 6 out of 10. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know, what did you think of The Meg? And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap.